Hello, dear students. I'm Seema Siddiqui, happy to share an introduction to English textbook Standard 12th with you all. Maharashtra State Board have started imparting advanced knowledge of English language from Standard 11th, and this year's textbook is an extension, a step forward. Let's have a look at the content. Students, our book is divided into four important sections: prose, poetry, writing skills, and genre drama. Apart from the content page, we do have a layout plan for all the contents. That is, the icebreakers, which introduce the text, the brainstorming, which enable full comprehension of the text, activity based questions foster critical thinking, the margin activity help in pondering over the questions which arise while doing the text, and useful links and suggestions have been given after every lesson. Also, we find the textbook page useful titled Statements of Competencies English Yuvak Bharati will surely help us to go through the details of improving different skills, that is listening, speaking, reading and writing. Study skills and language skills will also help us to know about grammar and building self confidence. Achieving better sentence construction skills, vocabulary, and usage are the objectives of this book. So, we come to our first section, prose. This includes 8 lessons which teaches us the moral values and life skills through the classics and masterpieces in literature. We have writings of Indian and foreign writers. Our first lesson, R.K. Narayan's An Astrologer's Day, the writer portrays the peculiarities of human relationship of Indian daily life. Lesson number 1.2 on saying please by A.G. Gardiner. Story points out the value of good manners in social life. Story number 1.3, The Cop and the Anthem by O. Henry is about freedom and imprisonment. Lesson number 1.4, Big Data, Big Insights helps us to understand what is big data, uses sources of information like YouTube, Facebook, Insta, etc. Our next lesson, The New Dress story by Virginia Woolf, describes a girl character, Mabel Waring, who is constantly thinking about her new yellow dress in negative terms. She herself has chosen the design, color, and pattern of the dress which she has decided to wear for a party. Our next lesson, 1.6, Into the Wild by Kiran Purandare, is a story of a traveler who is lost in the jungle shouting for help and how he finds his way out. Coming next to 1.7, Siddharth Iyer's lesson, Why We Travel, is a classic essay on his own instinct to travel, inspiring for readers who are looking for adventures. Our Last prose is Voyaging Towards Excellence by Achyut Godbole is an autobiographical sketch depicts his journey from a middle class school boy to a famous writer. Let's now move on to the next section, that is poetry. This is an interesting collection of 8 poems which would give you a taste of different cultures, different people, different philosophies, which would mold your ability to see life with a different angle and know about life. You should realize that whether people are from east or west, they are human beings, and human beings are human, and life is precious. Coming on to the first poem of this section. The name of the poem is Song of the Open Road, written by Walt Whitman and taken from his poetic collection Leaves of Grass. Is a beautiful blend of self-awareness, free will and tenderness of heart. It gives us poets a realization that along the journey of life, one will face a test of wisdom which is not tested in any school or university. Our next poem is Indian Weavers, is a short poem where the poetess Sarojini Naidu talks about 3 types of garments that the weavers weave at 3 particular times of a day. Each stanza of the poem represents the 3 important events of human life: birth, that is childhood, adulthood, that is youth, and death, that is old age. The colors mentioned in the stanzas are very significant as they indicate the moods related to the events. Poem number 2.3, The Inchcape Rock, is a ballad. Ballad means a song that tells a story. Robert Southey was inspired by the legendary story of a pirate who removed the bell on the Inchcape Rock near the east coast of Scotland. The poem gives us a message that those who do wrong things will meet with due punishment. Our next poem, Have You Earned Your Tomorrow, written by Edgar Guest. Guest is known as a people's poet for his simple style and optimistic tone of writing. This is an inspirational poem. In this poem, the speaker is asking the reader whether they have done anything to improve the life of another human being or not. Next poem, Father Returning Home, written by Dilip Chitre, is a poem which draws a portrait of a suburban commuter. It depicts his dull, monotonous, exhausting, and equally pitiable day routine. His children refuse to share their joys and sorrows with the hard-working father, who as a result is forced to retire into solitude. Our next poem, Money, is written by William Davis. The poem tells us about the rich man who wants to be a poor man to find the real happiness. It is when we do not have money or have lost our money, we realize how important the money is. At the end, the poet says that now he doesn't have money, he has 2 friends, though they may be few. Next is a very beautiful poem written by George Byron. She Walks in Beauty is a short lyrical poem celebrating female beauty. The poet describes an unnamed woman who is exceptionally striking. The poet describes not only her external appearance but also her inner goodness, which makes her so captivatingly attractive. Byron compares her to the night sky, describing her serene and perfect beauty. Although the poem is generally thought to be a love poem, the poet never actually declares his love for this lady. Our next and the last poem, Small Towns and Rivers, written by Memang Dai, is a poem which describes a landscape and nature where river is a dominant phenomena. The poet makes us aware of the lively nature around her hometown Pasighat in northeast India. Section number 3 is writing skills. This section is all about writing skills. Some of the things we are used to and some are newly added. 3.1 Summary Writing. A summary is a record in the reader's own words that gives the main points of a piece, such as a newspaper, article, a lecture, a passage, a chapter, or even a whole book. We have do's of summary writing and don'ts of summary writing on our textbook page number 136. Do schools really kill creativity? Is mind mapping means a graphical way to represent ideas and concepts. It is a visual thinking tool. Note making is the next point, highlights the difference between note making and note taking. Both skills are totally different. Statement of purpose, SOP. How to write SOP with two sample examples is given here in this lesson, which is a requirement to get admission in universities and good colleges across the world. Drafting a virtual message talks about different communication processes to express and understand each other. On the broader terms, communication can be in various forms, oral, written, or virtual. Next and the last in this section is group discussion. A formal discussion conducted on a topic among a group of 10 or 12 participants. Group discussion are one of the effective interactive methods of classroom learning. Our last section is genre drama, which contains 4 topics. Let's begin with the first one, which is history of novel. The lesson revolves around the various aspects which go in making a good novel. It tells us about the style, language, types of novel, its theme, etc. Novel To Serve with Love, written by E.R. Braithwaite, has a theme of student teacher relationship. This novel is the inspiration for the classic film. Next is Jules Verne's novel Around the World in 80 Days is full of adventures and excitement. Students of your age are really excited to read such types of novels. Our last novel is The Sign of Four, written by Arthur Conan Doyle. Is a detective novel which is a very mind-blowing story. Dear students, you all know that board has introduced activity-based question paper format, and in order to meet the demands, we have to read the book thoroughly. One who will read will lead. I hope you will find this introduction helpful. Thank you.